Hi, I'm Tim Roble, and welcome to another episode of Adventure Athlete. As you can see, I'm working on my Can-Am X3 XRC, and this is my King of the Hammers high visibility, high safety cage that I've done for the vehicle. You can see this front nose clip that I've done. I come in here and I have X-braced and made the dual shear up here on the shocks, the upper shock mounts. That comes down and bolts into the frame here. And then all of this comes down and then bolts into the bulkhead down here. I use nut certs to do that. And that worked out really well. I'm happy with how that turned out. It gives you a little bit more protection for the radiator than from the factory. I still have to fab a bumper. I've got everything trimmed back and kind of ready to go. But the product that I'm using on this black on the cage is called Steel It. And if you're not familiar with Steel It, it's a super cool product for fabricators. I got introduced to this about a year ago. And here's what the can looks like. And we used it for a skate rail and for trying to hold up for corrosive and then something that wouldn't chafe away. But it didn't really work for that application. But for this cage application, you can see the 3 bullet points here on the can. It's 316L stainless steel in a polymer coat, so it's anti-corrosive and it's weldable. Now I have done some welding on it and it kind of bleeds back just a little bit, like you're going to weld something right in here. It'll bleed back a little bit and then come in. The trick to that is just put enough of a coat in there to get some good coverage. I came in here and I welded these brackets on in the morning and I had a little bit of bubbling, but I am pretty heavy on the coat on this. Just wanted it to look nice and kind of blend in. It ends up kind of looking like a powder coat finish, and I like it because it's not gloss black and it's not flat black. So little touch-ups and places to go, but I'm getting ready to X the top from here to there, and then from this corner to that corner, and then I have to do one more tube in down from here, and then one up to the B pillars to tie that in. And then I'll do some mounts for the factory stainless or factory aluminum roof on this, and that should be done. I should be able to start putting everything back together. I got a few little things, but you can see right here the increased visibility. I still got a fabricated dash, but you can see we are physically about 9 inches lower for our sight plane than what we were from in the seat. Factory cage came up in here, and that anti-intrusion, came through this area. You can see I've tied this in as close as I can get it down to the shock towers. On this side, I went ahead and used a node on this tube, but Can-Am really didn't stay symmetrical with that, so they ran one over there. So I kind of split the difference in that. Should be super fine, and it'll be a lot stronger than running another bar in the car. So it's kind of got a cool look to it. With this shock brace, it's now dual shear, and I also installed I think it's a TMW dual shear bulkhead on the car. So I got that in back here and up front. I'm waiting on some rear bolts. I could not get the bolts out, so I had to cut them. Got those on order. Those should be in probably Tuesday. So I'll get the arms. I am waiting on my high clearance arm from CT Racing. So that'll be something that I'll put in place when those arms come in. I'm really not in a rush for getting this car done. I do want to get out and do some testing on it because I have tires to test, and I need to do some clutch work. So I got a little bit on my agenda of things that I need to accomplish. But right now I thought I would just kind of update you with how the cage looks. I like the way everything tied in. In my opinion, everything turned out super clean, easy to see, and it's going to be a little bit of finish work here on the dash. I am going to leave this plastic in place, and I'll make the dash come up and meet there. Doesn't really take away from me sitting back here and looking out. So the increased visibility for the rock crawling on this car is going to be amazing. I can't see getting any more out of it. I think I'm probably at the end without totally redesigning a whole new chassis, which seriously, if I had the time, had the money, That's what I would have done. I would have went out and drove the car, came back, probably taken the whole car apart all the way down to bare chassis, and I would have built a complete chassis. What Can-Am seriously should have done is they should have made everything on this car dual shear. And if you don't know what that is, like, this was the original shock tower on the car, and it just had a little piece that went down and tied into the radiator. So the shock bolts were only loading on one side, not two sides. And same thing with the suspension mounts and everything down there. And what you run into is after some little bit of hard use and some hits, is you start getting stuff to tweak and bend, and definitely fatigue. So with the dual shear, this car should last a lot longer and not have to worry about breaking something off of the car. So I'll just do a quick loop. Yeah, I apologize for the welding blankets everywhere, but trying to keep everything nice as I can and trying to move on and keep you guys in the loop of what I'm doing here. But I was super happy with how the back turned out. So I did reuse these tubes that I originally did, and just these are my B-pillars. Well, actually the whole thing is mine now, but it's all 095 1 3/4 tubing. And stringers here, these are 083 1 1/4. Up front is 083 here and here and here. 95 thousandths on the 1.5 for the tower. And then all of this little tubing that really just kind of ties things in is 049 1 inch. And that's what I had left over from another project. It's 4130 chromoly, but didn't need to be chromoly, but it worked out just fine. Same mesh that I had in my adventure truck that you watched the build on. So I think the grill kind of turned out good. Once again, everything's not done, and with this Steelite, you can come in. Like you can see, I didn't fabricate the bumper, but I could come in and tack everything and then blend that paint back in. So for now, I got something that's not rusting up, still looks nice, and then I have something that I can still fine-tune and develop through the time of the car, which is real important to me. That's a neat way to do it. A lot of times I would use the Rust-Oleum Professional, and with that, you know, you always have to sand it back quite a bit, 2-3 inches. With this Steelite, you can just come right in and weld right on it. Like I said, keep the coats thin, and this is just a base coat right now, just to kind of, we've had crazy weather here the last couple of weeks, and when stuff starts to get a good rust layer on it, it starts to make me nervous. So I want to get everything covered. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. As you might be able to tell, I'm a little sick. This is Sunday, and kind of got sick through the week, and took it easy yesterday. Back out working today. Back on client stuff tomorrow, and I have a trials competition coming up this weekend. So at some point in time, I'm gonna have to stop working on the car and start working on me and getting me ready to go and healthy. Anyway, if you guys like this type of thing, fabrication and custom metal design, please hit like and subscribe. I got more stuff coming. I got a new motorcycle on the lift. Excuse me, that I'm doing some fab, so probably show you guys a little bit what's going on there. I got to make an oil tank and mount a tank and a seat and everything. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you for putting up with my rants and watching my videos. I'm Tim Roble, and I'll catch you here next time.